it play and call it work.
Hey there guys, Quirk here from MiniWarGaming.com to give you this week's Sit and Talk with me, Quirk. I figured that's pretty self-explanatory by the title and me saying it and all that other stuff. So just a quick reminder for everybody out there, next week is going to be a Sit and Talk with Steve. So if you have any questions or comments for him, leave a little comment in the comment section below that says Steve and then your question and or comment so that we know it's for him, and then otherwise it's just going to be me answering the questions you left for me last week. So it's going to be 30 minutes free and then 30 minutes in the vault. So if I don't get to your question here, I'll probably get to your question in the vault. And if you're not already a vault member, you can go ahead and click the link below to get a 7-day free trial to hear the rest of my questions, as well as see all the extra stuff that we have in the vault for everyone out there. So without further ado, we'll start the 30 minutes. Boop. Hey, I got it. Okay. So first one. Nemo No Name. Quirk, what do you think of the 40k tournament formats? Could they be changed to improve the game? What I'm thinking is either going for inventory-esque approach with 2 available lists that you pick before a mission, or maybe something akin to Dark Age of having a larger pool of models you can substitute in before a game, perhaps allowing to have a pre-made detachment so you can substitute for one already in the list, with the total points obviously staying below maximum, so both detachments should be very close in points. This way, some of the more specific models could be more useful, as you could pick them for the mission or the opponent's army. Speculate. Well, there's a couple different tournament formats that do this, not just Warhammer 40k, but for example, War Machine. Back when I was playing in the tournament format there, it was a 2-list system where you brought 2 lists, you played 3 games, and out of those 3 games, you had to play both lists at least once. So you could play list 1, list 1, list 2, list 2, list 1, list 2, however you wanted to do it, but you had to play pardon me, both your lists at least once throughout the tournament. Another one is very similar to Malifaux, where it's you bring all the models in your collection, you figure out what the mission is, and then you build your list, and then you play the game. So there's a bunch of different ways that you could look at that. Again, you have also Infinity on here and Dark Age having larger pools of models and everything. I think 40k has a pretty good variety of models for all the armies that it's very easy for somebody to build a list, as long as, for most tournament formats, you know kind of what the missions are ahead of time, you know what you're going to be getting into beforehand, so you're able to build your list to kind of accommodate for the mission, and then you kind of bring those odds and ends here and there to deal with whatever your opponent's going to bring. I think if you start instituting things like a sideboard, similar to what they do in Magic, where it's like, okay, you know, I know I'm playing Tau, my opponent is playing we'll say Tyranids, for example. I'm going to need a few more marker lights so I can spread out through the different volumes of models. I'm going to substitute some of these models here and there. It kind of, I don't know, it seems a little bit weird and out of the usual format for 40k, where I'm used to 40k being, you bring the one list, you did the best you could to make it to the best format you possibly could to deal with all the different missions you're going to have to deal with and all the potential opponents you're going to deal with. And then again, you kind of run into that little bit of a rock, paper, scissors thing, but that's why you also built your list to deal with the mission that you're about to be playing. So I think the way they've got the tournament format set up works really well. I'm not sure if changing it that way would be an improvement, but it would definitely be interesting to kind of see if adding, for example, you have a 500-point sideboard that you can swap out the models for. That might be interesting at like a 2,000-point game. But it's also going to add more time to the game and also making it a lot more difficult for the judges to be checking the rules and checking the points on the sideboard and things like that. Because a lot of the ones that include 2 lists or sideboards or whatever are usually a smaller point system. So instead of playing 2,000 points where you have the individual points that can make or break by one, you have like War Machine where it's, okay, this unit's either 6 points or 10 points. There's no variance there. So that's kind of the way I see it. At the moment, I'm going to stick with, I think they should keep it the way they're keeping it. And if you want to try your local store to see if maybe adding a sideboard or double lists or whatever makes it a little bit more interesting, you can. But I think the best way to be able to properly judge that is to actually be a tournament organizer in an event like that, so you can get a full understanding of what it is to manage the players in that type of environment. So, next question we have Lord Gork 300. Quirk, love your dice rolling, haha. Anyway, what made you cut your hair the way it is, and where did you get your hair done? Have you ever won a Warhammer 40k tournament? For this right now, it's mostly just been kind of growing out. I actually had multiple barbers, but I have one barber who's very particular about actually maintaining that mohawk. And she went on she's a bodybuilder, so she's off at competitions and stuff like that right now, so she's kind of taken a little bit of a leave. And because of that, I haven't really found a barber who can make sure the mohawk is the way I like it, because I've gone to a couple different places where they do it and it's a little bit weird at the back, or it's really thick, or they try and give you that weird fade thing, and I'm like, no, you know what, I'm going to let it kind of grow out until she's done her thing, and then I'll go get the mohawk back. And have I ever won a 40K tournament? Yes. I've never won a big one, but I've won a lot of smaller to medium-sized ones in like the local area, or like ones that I've maybe had to travel a little bit for. Anything that's got more than 100 people, no, I've never won anything bigger than that. I've never won any GTs, I've never won any ITC, actual ranked tournaments, but you know, local stuff I usually do fairly well. Smaller, like, you know, tiny little hobby shops that have maybe 6 people in a tournament, I bring joke lists to those. I bring random things where I'm like, you know what, let's see what happens if I bring this list. And usually in those circumstances, it's just kind of so far-fetched and out there that the meta that I'm bringing it into has no idea what to do with it, and I end up placing fairly well there. There was one tournament a while ago now that I actually took 3 Tesseract vaults to. It was 2,000 points. I brought 3 Tesseract vaults and just a little bit of fodder, and I ended up just tabling everybody. And I'm like, oh, now this was pre-codex, pre-chapter approved, so it was 3 Tesseract vaults and a Gauss pylon, and it did surprisingly well for just kind of, you know, I don't want to move a lot of models. I don't want to spend a lot of time doing everything here because I do this all the time, and now I'm playing on a lower table. I didn't want to hurt my back, so. But yeah, I did fairly well at that. But no, I've never won anything larger than maybe a 40-man tournament. So next up we have Rodesks. Quirk, I know you enjoy competitive play, and I know I've heard you enjoy Magic the Gathering. Have you paid much attention to Shadespire? Do you have any intention of trying to play it casually or competitively? I've only ever played one game of Shadespire, and that was I was out in Oakville, so this is about an hour and a half north of Welland, and was just driving somebody to, I think it was a wedding, and I was just being their chauffeur. So I drove them to the wedding, and then I'm like, you know what, I have a little bit of time to kill, so I went to the local GW and met a couple people there, and then one guy had just bought the Shadespire box, was like, hey, do you want to play a quick game? I was like, sure, and I'm almost positive we butchered the rules to it, but we played a fun little game. I very much enjoyed it, but I haven't really looked at it too much since. Now, that being said, I did like the aspect of the cards, and just when you kill something or when something happens, they get honor or might or whatever it is, and the card flips over and they suddenly become more powerful. So I did very much enjoy that, and I really like the look of the Rat Clan, but I'm still not sure if it's something I really want to pick up and get into, mostly because in our local area there's not a lot of people that play Shadespire. Now occasionally we get a guest in that does play, but they're becoming so few and far between that it's not really something that I've looked into, because I'm sure for a lot of people out there, when it's something that when it's a game that you want to look into and you want to get into, you want other people who are able to play it with you. And for Shadespire, there's not a lot of people in the local area that are really interested in it. I mean, I'm sure I could try and start getting it going, but that's not really something that's crossed my mind right now. But I do very much like the way Shadespire plays. I do like the idea that you take the tiles, you can kind of move it around and mess with your board a little bit. And I like that aspect. So definitely something I would like to look into and get into a little bit more, just when I have time and other people to play with. So, next up we have Joe8170. James Tiberius Quirk, how the devil are you? I have 2 questions today, one about Grey Knights and one about Orcs. Firstly, Grey Knights. With new Alpha Strike rules, do you think this applies to Intercessor squads? If it doesn't, I feel they might actually benefit Grey Knights as one of the armies that can first turn Deep Strike. Secondly, Orcs. As I write this game's workshop has just announced Orcs are coming soon, and I'm slightly worried as it is safe to assume that Orcs will have different rules depending on what clan they are. However, the lore suggests that Orcs are more loyal to warbands than clan. Do you think that GW will take this into consideration and allow detachments to take different clans, or do you think they will be overpowered? Many thanks. Wish you the best, from Luca. Okay. So to answer your first question, the GW actually announced that the rules for turn 1 Deep Strike on does not apply to Interceptor squads if you use the stratagem where they're already on the board and you can go ahead and shunt them. That you're allowed to do. So yeah, you can put them on the board and just be like shunt, 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 and just move them all over the place. That's 100% allowed. I wouldn't say it makes them a super good Alpha Strikey army, because you still have to land 9 inches away from your opponent, and Intercessor squads are pretty much just strike squads that can move a little bit faster. So you're going to get the 1 smite off, it's going to do 1 mortal wound, you're going to be able to put, out of a 5-man squad, 40 Stormbolter shots into something, which might do some damage. If you put the Cybolt ammunition, you're looking at strength 5, -1 damage, so it could definitely work, but then that squad's kind of out in the open for a turn, probably going to get gunned down, and then turn 2 you're going to start bringing in your deep strike stuff. So it could work really well as a distraction, but the fact that you're only able to use one stratagem once, or if I'm not sure, I'm actually drawing a blank right now on whether or not it's a stratagem that lets you do that, or if it's a ability for the intercessors. I'm really hoping it's an ability, but I haven't looked at the book in a couple of months, so really drawing a blank on that one. But if you can do it with multiple squads because it's an ability on them, absolutely, that's awesome. If it's a stratagem, then it's a cool little deterrent, and it will work really well at distracting your opponent for a turn while you wait for turn 2 to bring in your actual reinforcements like the Dread Knight and like Terminators or something like that, or sorry, Paladins or something like that. So it could work. It could definitely work, especially getting that turn 2 deep strike in with a Paladin squad, and then they do Vortex, and you're just like, boom, 3 dice. Those are the sound effects of everybody dying. As for the orcs, I'm not sure. I've been thinking about that for a little bit now that the orcs are coming out. I'm thinking they might do it a little bit similar to what they did with the Knight Codex, where it's you kind of picked whether or not you are Mechanicus or Imperium, and then depending on that, you had different houses. They might do that very similar with the warbands, where it's like, okay, which warband are you from? Here's some clans available to it. I could see that kind of happening. So if it was like you're fans of Gork, here's a ton of different clans you can join. You're a fan of Mork, here's more clans you can join, but the two can never intermingle, and they might even come up with rules where it's like, okay, if you have one clan Orc and one clan Mork, if they ever get within a certain distance of each other, you have to roll a dice because they might fight each other, which is something that GW would definitely do. But I'm very curious to see it. I don't want to make any huge assumptions right now because I could be completely wrong on that, but I'm very excited to see what Games Workshop does with the orcs to make them unique, because we've seen everybody coming out with custom masks, dynasties, seps, chapters, like all these different things that are coming out. I'm really excited to see what the orcs come out with and what they're able to do with this new book. So I am excited. All right, next up we have Zergalurgadurg. Holy cow, I got that name right. Zergalurgadurg. It's quite the name. Hey Beverly, I want to start by saying that your Q dice have brought me lots of clutch rolls since I got them from Adepticon. Nice. Now, I've seen you play a good variety of orc lists, but I've never seen you do one filled with cans, Def Dreads, and Gorkanaut Morkanauts. Have you ever thought about running something like that? I have. I definitely have. The problem is that right now we don't have a ton of cans. I think we have maybe 2 actual Def Dreads, and then Gorkanaut Morkanauts we only have 1 of each. So I could run a list, I just don't know how viable it would be. And after seeing how some of the Def Dreads do, it might just be a total gimmick list. I have no idea. Hopefully it's good, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure how that would go. But I can definitely do it. Next time I get somebody in who wants to play against orcs, I will build a list of cans, Def Dreads, Gorkanaut Morkanauts, and then just fill it with whatever I need to keep everything alive. Alrighty. Okay. Next up we have Big Mikey. Hey Quirk, with GW announcing orcs being one of the next releases, is there anything you're hoping to see in the new book? Also, are you still enjoying Harlequins, or are they sort of a 2-trick pony with the new codex? For orcs, one of the things I am excited for is just I want to see some more psychic powers. I want to see like Foot of Gork or something, because that would be awesome. Just very similar to how it is in Age of Sigmar. Just bring that in where it's just like stomp, 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 stomp. That'd be sweet. The other thing that I'd be really excited to see is just the clans. I want to see what the clans are. I want to see, you know, are we going to get the speed freaks going off where it's like a total bike list and suddenly bikes become amazing again? Like, that would be awesome. So definitely something I want to see there. I think those are the only 2 things that I'm really excited to see. I doubt very much that we're going to get any new models. We might get some remakes of a character, but I very much doubt it because, yeah, I don't know. It'd be neat. It would be sweet if they made a new Gazgul Thraka who was like, you know, the size you would assume he'd be considering how the scale's gone up for everything, but you never know. As for the Harlequins, yes, I am very much enjoying them. They are still, they have a 2-trick pony kind of esque to them, but the thing is they can keep doing those tricks over, and there's not a whole lot that your opponent can do to stop some of that. Like the leadership modifying, that's awesome. I got a couple people with that. The Death Jester, definitely able to take out a couple guys and throw some crazy mortal wounds out, which is awesome. one of my new favorite ones to do is, and I'm sure a couple of Harlequin players have seen me do this and are just like, that's really cheesy. But you take a Shadow Seer, you give her the relic of the Suit of Hidden Blades, which makes it so every time your opponent rolls a 1 to hit, on a 2+, they take a mortal wound. You make sure that the Shadow Seer knows Fog of Dreams and Veil of Tears, so the 2 spells that give -1 to hit. Then you make sure that she's also from the Soaring Spite mask. Then you take her, put her in a Star Weaver, put a Troop Master in there as well, make him have the Falchions Talon, which gives it so that the transport can move an additional 6 inches. And then also if the transport dies for any reason, it doesn't blow up and you don't have to roll to see people die on the way out. And then what you do is make your Shadow Seer your Warlord and give her the Warlord trait Sky Strider. So what now happens is your transport can sit on the back line and can immediately go 28 inches because it normally goes 16, automatically advances 6, and then goes an additional 6 thanks to the Talon. So it's going 28 inches up. The Warlord trait Sky Strider lets you able to actually disembark after a vehicle has moved. So this vehicle goes flying up 28 inches. Then you jump out 3, so now you are 31 inches up. Then you can move an additional 8 inches, so now you're 39 inches up. You can advance if you want to, so you're going anywhere from 40 to 45 inches up. And then now that you've gone 45 inches across the board, you're able to cast both your psychic powers, so make yourself -2 to hit, and then charge into a big unit of guys, or some guy with a ton of different attacks, or whatever. Start the combat with your roll, which you probably will. It's only 3 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 5, so you might be hitting on 2s. If it's a big unit, you might be wounding on 4s, maybe 3s, who knows? But for the most part, that guy's going to be swinging back at you. And then when he goes to swing at you, you spend 2 command points for lightning reflexes. So now your Suit of Hidden Blades is going to cause, on a 2+ a mortal wound back every time your opponent rolls a 4, 3, 2, or a 1. So yeah, that's going to hurt. And then the real kicker to it is that if your opponent has a 4+ to hit, they can't hit you, but they still have to roll those dice. So I think that's kind of sweet. And it's a dirty trick. I've done it. I did it to Josh the one game with his Death Watch, and I whiffed the roll. I think I killed maybe 1 guy, and then he had 4 guys attack me back, and they all died, just bouncing attacks back. So I thought that was awesome. But yeah, they have a couple different tricks. I'm still learning a few of them, trying to figure out a couple other ones, but I think for the most part, I've got the Leadership modifier is a neat one. The suit, just firing that at somebody is awesome. The Death Jesters, I stand by it. The Death Jesters are awesome now. Just with the Curtain Fall and firing the Shrieker Cannon. So the big one, getting it so that you use the stratagem so you get 2 shots that'll hit, bump yourself up so that you're strength 8, -3, D3 damage apiece. Every time you kill something, it's additional D3 mortal wounds, so you could potentially kill 2 guys because you're hitting on 2s. So there's 1 die hitting on a 2, becomes 2 hits. Strength 8 means it's probably going to be wounding on 2s, so you get those both through. -3 means they're probably not going to make their save. D3 damage apiece means it's probably going to kill something, because if it's a Terminator or something like that, you're going to do the damage. And then for every model that dies, you get to roll an additional D3 mortal wounds. So it's just a ton of damage coming out of this model. And he's only 45 points. So, okay. Moving on from that one, because that kind of went on a little bit longer. Brody Scumdog. Hey Quirk, have you considered getting dice made where the symbol for the 6 is on a 1 to see if it would improve your cursed rolling? It's crossed my mind a few times. Now the thing is that all the dice here at MiniWarGaming have the symbol on the 6, so if mine were the ones where it was different and I already have some where they're already on the 6, it'd be kind of a pain because you'd have to go through the entire studio, find every single one, put them away somewhere, and then get the other dice out and make sure that they're never mixed up with the other players' dice, because if you roll different ones together, it's very easy to get those mixed up. So I had a battle report with somebody, and I got called out a little bit for it, but I thought it was kind of funny because the game still played out really well, where he was using the GW Orc dice, and I didn't realize that the Orc symbol was the 1, and he was rolling 6s, so every time I saw the symbol on a 6, I'm like, wow, you're just rolling so many 6s, and then after like halfway through turn 1, I was like, wait a second, oh, the symbols are 1s. We should probably correct this. So still turned out to be a great game, but I've never been so impressed by orc shooting in my life. So next up we have William Ka. Quirk, so what is going to be your list for Valhalla? P.S. Ego says hi. Oh, hi Ego. My list for Valhalla, I don't know. Like, part of me wants to bring Harlequins, but at the same point in time, last time I transported Harlequins was to the LVO, and almost every single one of them broke. And they were in a case. And they were in my luggage. And the case was in my luggage, and it was a hard case, and stuff still broke, so I don't think I want to do that. I might just bring like 1,000 points at Custodes. Like, just bring my bike list, see what happens. It's 10 models, so it's probably going to be the list I take. All right, how we doing for time here? Oh, we're definitely good. Okay. Thason. Hey, Quirk. Free People Gunline against Steve's Seraphim. Would like to see you play that. Do you think it could outshoot him? Cheers from Denmark. See, I'm not super familiar with the stats of the Free People, but maybe? I don't know. I think Steve's luck would just carry him right through that. Just 100% carry him through everything. Like it does. It just tends to do that. So I'm going to go with maybe if someone other than me was to play it, and maybe someone other than Steve was to play Steve's army, then yes, but otherwise no. Steve would just walk right through that if I was playing it. Alrighty. Sigmar. Hey, Quirk. Have you ever thought of using the special allegiance abilities from the Firestorm campaign in Age of Sigmar battle reports? The FAQ says they're legal in match play and stack on the Grand Alliance allegiance abilities. I like to use Stoneclaw Gruntstoppas for my Moon Clan. It seems very thematic. What do you think? I honestly haven't really looked into it too much. I haven't played a lot of Age of Sigmar recently. I've been focusing mostly on 40k and trying to cover kind of some of the newer stuff that's been coming out, because recently it's been like, you know, Harlequins, Custodes, and all this stuff. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on. I haven't really had a chance to play too much Age of Sigmar, and because of that I haven't really kept up with some of the stuff like this. Like I think the last game I played, I brought the Grots, and they were still on square bases. Like they're all on round bases now. They're all been fixed up. That took a while, but no, I haven't played Age of Sigmar enough recently to be able to answer that question appropriately. So I do apologize, but yeah, I don't know. I'll take a look into it, and I will get back to you. If you leave this comment for me again next time it comes up, I will have an answer for you. All right, Mac Hawk. QFed, I just started a Killer Clowns in Space Army. However, I'm finding it hard getting started with 1,000-point lists. What would you recommend starting with? Oh, you need 3 troops. Those are your base thing if you want to be like battalion. My go-to thing for like 1,000 points would be something like 2 troop masters with fusion pistols, 3 Skyweavers, 5 troops in each with fusion pistols, and then any points you have left over, throw into like a character or something like that. It really depends on what you have, what I mean, kitted them out with. But let's see, going off the top of my head here, hang on. Because I know all their points, I can figure this out for you really quick. So, if we have a Troop Master who is 70 points with a Fusion Pistol, which is 9 points, it's going to be 79 points, times that by 2, because we're going to have 2 of them, that's 158 points. Then we're going to have Troops, which are 65 points for 5 of them, and a Fusion Pistol on each of them is going to be 45, so we're looking at 110 points for 1 unit, times that by 3 is going to be 330 points. And then we're going to be seeing 3 transports, which are 99 points apiece, times that by 3 is going to be 298 points. Whoop, nope, that's 297 points. Yes. And so we're going to go ahead and add that up. So that's 158, 330, 297 gives us a total of 5. Carry the 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 18. Boom, 5, 3, 6. That's 685 points right there, and that gives you your beginning list right there. So that's going to be 15 guys with fusion, 2 troop masters with fusion, 3 transports, and then if you really wanted to kick it up a notch, you could throw in a Shadow Seer in there. So that's going to be 125 points. Throw that in for 125, gives you a total of 0, 8, 0, 1, 6, 7, 8, 810 points, which gives you 200 points left over. You know what, throw in a Death Jester with Curtain Fall, it's going to be 45 points, and then 98 points for a Solitaire is going to be 3, carry the 1, that's 15, carry the 1, 9, that's 953 points. So 953 points is going to get you a Shadow Seer, a Death Jester, a Solitaire, which you can put into, oh, you know what? Throw in another 45 points. That's going to be 5, 7, 8. 998 points. You're going to have 1 attachment giving you 5 command points. That's going to be 2 troop masters, 3 units of troops with fusion inside 3 transports. Then you're also going to have another detachment, which is going to be a Shadow Seer, 2 Death Jesters, and a Solitaire. Put them all within 6 inches of each other. You can do the Hero's Path on turn 2, which lets you deep strike them wherever you want. And then if you really wanted to kick it up a notch, you can spend some command points, give your Death Jester Curtain Fall, give your Shadow Seer the Cloak of Hidden Blades. Yeah, and that'd be pretty gross. And then on top of that, you could make them, so you want your first detachment with the 5 command points with all your troops and troop masters, you want them to be Soaring Spite, so that way they can advance 22 inches and still fire their fusion without taking the -1. And then you're going to want to make your Death Gesture one so that you can take Curtain Fall. You want that one to be Dreaming Sorrow or Dreaming Shadow or whichever one it is, where on a 4+ when a model dies, it gets to either shoot or attack again. So that'd be a neat little trick, and that's 2 points shy of 1,000. So there you go. All from memory. Like I said, I've read that book a few times. So that would be my suggestion for starting off at 1,000 points. It gives you the mobility. It also gives you a little bit of deep striking trickery. It's also going to give you 5, 6, 9 command points to spend and play around with, so definitely going to have enough. Oh, no, sorry. 8 command points. Going to spend 1 for the extra suit for the Shadow Seer, or the cloak for, the Curtain Fall for the Death Jester. So gives you a little bit of points, something you can definitely play around with. I would recommend trying that. There you go. How long did it take me to build that list? Okay, it took me a little longer than I thought it would. So, so yeah, there you go. Moving on to the next question. Nothing like speed building a list there, everybody. Equilibri. Hey, Quirkinator. Starting up my Custodes for 8th edition. Oh, don't make me do this again. I will try to make it so that I can play them in 30K, especially now that the Custodes model from Forge World will get rules in 8th edition. So here's my question for you. Have you looked at the beta rules for the Forge World Custodes in 8th? If so, what are your thoughts about them, the dreads and the boats? Okay, I will get to that. What do you think will be the thing to play with from Forge World Custodes in 8th? Anyways, I love to see more games with the Custodes, and hopefully you will expand them with some Forge World stuff. Keep cool and keep on wargaming. Okay, so to answer your first question there about the beta rules, the Dreadnoughts are awesome. Both the one carrying the halberd and the gun one are amazing. They have crazy stats, they move super fast, they hit like a truck, and you can also do from Golden Light they come, so you can deep strike them in turn 2 and just fire them at something, which is sweet. The boats, the actual transport itself is kind of garbage. Like, it's too easy to kill. It has a 6-up invuln and a 6-up feel no pain, ignoring wound type trick. But otherwise, no, that's pretty much all it's relying on. Otherwise, it's just a floating land raider. The actual guns itself, though, the gunship is really, really good. That gun on it can annihilate some stuff, which is pretty sweet there. For Forge World, I would say definitely the Dreadnoughts. You want to get one of the gun ones, and you want the Achilles and the, I forget what the other one's called. So you want the guy who's got the halberd, and you also want the gun one. Things that I'd like to see them bring from Forge World to the Custodes in 8th edition would be the actual bolters, because I picked up a few at Adepticon 2 years ago. They've been sitting in the, like, they're painted, they're done, they're ready to go. I think I've used them in 1 game in 30K, and I've just never used them since. So hopefully they can add some stuff there, but I am hoping to expand the Custodes army a little bit. I still have 9 Dawn Eagle jet bikes to paint, which is kind of a pain, but I'll get to them. I will get to them. And otherwise I gotta start adding like the Alaris and some more banners to get the actual proper banners. So definitely a few things to add there. All right, next question we have here is from Wigdor. Yo, Quirk, as a Custodes player. Well, it's like you guys are just doing this in order. What's your opinion on the Alaris Custodians and the Wardens? I don't see you use them in your battle reports. Also, what do you think of the Forge World stuff for Custodes? Okay, so I answered the question about the Forge World stuff already, but for the Alaris Custodes and the Wardens. So, first off, for the Alaris and the Wardens, we don't have any in-house. Not really something that anybody's really interested in. So it's going to be something that I'd have to pick up, and at the moment I'm still kind of stuck on those Dawn Eagle jet bikes. As for the actual use of them, I think they're amazing because you can do the crazy banner trick, dropping in the Terminators 3 inches away from enemies and then just charging them in. Like, it's ridiculous. There's a little trick for that. But it's super points heavy. And at the beginning, way back when I was first looking at it, I was like, you know, it's not really viable because you're going to burn through all your command points trying to do this. Then they bumped it up so that a battalion is 5 command points instead of 3. So now I'm like, wait a second, those extra 2 command points could be used to pull this off. Yeah, this could be really good, actually. So what you do is, and I'm sorry, I'm a little bit rusty on the names for everything here, but you take a shield captain on a Dawn Eagle jet bike. You take a sorry, it has to be a Terminator. So you take a Alaris Custodian who's carrying the banner, and put him in, like, from Golden Light they come, or normal deep strike. I think you can just normal deep strike in the Terminator armor. So you put him in that, but you give him the Terminator relic that allows him to select a character during deployment, and then if at any point in time in your opponent's charge phase they're within an inch of you, you can bring him in and let him attack stuff. So you do that, and then you also put in a unit of Alaris Terminators or whatever you want really, but as long as it's something that's really good at attacking, and then you're going to use them from Golden Light, they come to bring them in. So what happens is you take your Dawn Eagle Jet Bike, your Shield Captain on Dawn Eagle Jet Bike, and you fly them up the board, and you let them sit there, and you hope your opponent charges you. If they don't, you spend the 3 command points, because it's a big risk here, but you spend those 3 command points, and you charge into them, so that at the end of your opponent's charge phase, you are within an inch of enemies. Boom, you trigger the relic, you bring down the banner, he stands there, he attacks, he'll probably survive whatever you're targeting. The jet bike's going to attack, great, it's all been said and done. Start of your turn, end of your next movement phase, you spend the command points to bring in the guys from Deep Strike Reserve, so that they are within, I think it's 3 inches, or sorry, within 6 inches of the banner and 3 inches away from enemy models. So you can bring in those crazy Terminators to land them right where they need to go, and then they charge in with their crazy axes and just kill everything. Plus they're standing next to a Shield Captain who's going to be able to give them the reroll ones to hit. And if you're really cheeky, you can also make sure the banner is the one that gives an extra attack. So now you've got these guys who are just swinging like 4 attacks apiece, hitting on, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s. Oh. So it's a neat little trick. Something I definitely want to try. I just don't have the models to do it yet. So that's something that's pending for a little while, but I will definitely, once I get those models, try and pull off that trick. We'll just add it to the, Quirk's playbook. Anyway, that's going to be it for the first 30 minutes, guys. Hopefully I answered some of your questions. I still have a few more pages left to go through. Here's a good question I'm going to have to answer in the vault. MiniWarGaming staff as Marvel Universe characters, who and why? So if you're not already a Vault member and want to know the answer to that question and many more, go ahead and click the link below to get access to a 7-day free trial where you're going to find out the answer to that question, as well as get access to all the other videos that we have in the Vault, such as the behind the scenes, more battle reports, extra little things here and there, and also a couple other different goodies. So definitely check that out. One more reminder before I end this video. Next week, it's going to be Steve doing the sit and talk. So if you have any questions or comments for him, just put, Steve and then your question and or comment for him so that he knows it's for him. And otherwise, I will see you guys in the vault. Happy wargaming.